Good day, it is Althea from the Bible in 1 year. Today we spend time in Genesis 45, where Joseph is met with an unexpected reunion. In this chapter, we read about the final stages of God's plan that stretched over many years. When Joseph heard Judah's speech about his father and his youngest brother in the previous chapter, Joseph could not contain himself any longer, and he burst out in tears. For almost 22 years, Joseph held on to the dream God gave him, hoping to be united with his family. Joseph's dream had opened his calling to him. Joseph understands that God had sent him ahead to Egypt to save the lives and preserve his family in verse 5. The famine had been in the land for 2 years, but God said in other dreams that the famine will last for 7 years. God led Joseph to store up in the years of abundance to provide in the years of famine in Genesis 41. Joseph reveals his true identity to his brothers and the reason for the dream. God sent him ahead of you to prepare you for a remnant of the earth and to keep you alive by a great escape in verse 7. Joseph had no hard feelings towards his brothers because he understood the greater purpose of God. Like we read in Romans 8 verse 28, and we know with great confidence that God, who is deeply concerned about us, causes all things to work together as planned for good, for those who love God, to those who are called according to his plan and purpose. Joseph believed that God granted him favor in the sight of Pharaoh and all over Egypt in preparation, verse 8. His brothers were so overwhelmed by their sin committed to Joseph and for the safety of their father and youngest brother that they had a hard time to see God's provision in this, and not only for them, but for the whole people of God. Joseph gave them the land of Goshen to live in, so his family could be close to him. To ensure they survived the famine and that Israel would not be absorbed into Egypt's society as Joseph has been. This allowed Israel to retain their ethnic and religious distinctiveness in verse 10 to 12. When news got to Pharaoh about the arrival of Joseph's family, Pharaoh extended more gratitude towards them. He ordered provisions and wagons to fetch Joseph's family. Verse 17 to 20. Joseph lavished them with exceptional gifts and generosity. 300 shekels of silver. Joseph was sold for a mere 20 shekels. He also sent gifts for his father Jacob. Joseph ordered his brothers not to quarrel about how they will explain all of this to their father on their way back in verse 24. Joseph knew their ways and needed to promote unity, not just among them, but also to the people of God who read this. Jacob had a tough time to believe his son is alive. For years he believed a lie. Now, not only does this seem to be untruthful, but Joseph invites them to escape the famine and to come and live in abundance in the best of the land. This speaks of God's heart for his children, those who focus on God's purpose, who live according to his word and obedience to his voice in an intimate relationship with him, like Joseph did. 2 Corinthians 9 verse 8, and God is able to make all grace, every favor and earthly blessing come in abundance to you, so that you may always, under all circumstances, regardless of the need, have complete sufficiency in everything, being completely self-sufficient in him, and have an abundance for every good work and act of charity. May you be blessed. Goodbye.